Welcome to the channel. Today our subject of discussion is very important painting problem, and that is a loss of gloss, especially related to automobile, motorcycle and scooter industry. We shall be discussing quality verification checklist regarding loss of gloss with the objective to ensure that restored surface glass meets visual, mechanical, and application quality standards after repair. Our effort is to produce different videos on the assorted subjects, on the unique subjects, especially related to organization and management, investment, painting and plating, automobile, motorcycle, and scooter industry, operation, management, and many more. If you like the video, please do like, share, and subscribe this channel. And this is our video number 95. So coming back to quality verification checklist, applicable to loss of gloss, our first checkpoint is surface gloss. And verification method is visual inspection under standard lighting from 500 to 1000 lux. That is, if the painted surface exhibits uniform gloss under standard lighting, that is 500 to 1000 lux, and no dull, matte or hazy areas are observed, then the part shall be marked as accepted. Otherwise, it shall be marked as rejected due to loss of gloss. In this test, surface must display uniform gloss with no dull, matte or hazy areas. Coming to the point number two, inspection parameter, and that is reflectivity clarity. The verification method is visual comparison with adjacent OEM or standard panel. OEM से जो स्टैंडर्ड पैनल दिए गए हैं, जो रेफरेंस पैनल दिए हैं, उनके साथ कंपैरिजन करने से. Painted surface shall be visually compared with an adjacent OEM approved or standard reference panel to verify reflectivity clarity. The reflected image must appear sharp, clear, and free from distortion, haze, waviness, or dullness over the entire painted area. Any blurred or unclear reflection indicates possible loss of gloss, orange peel, or surface unevenness, and the part shall be marked as rejected. Of course, the acceptance criteria is reflected image should be sharp and undistorted across the entire surface. Third inspection parameter related to the loss of gloss after a repair is glass meter reading. Glass meter indicates the level of gloss, and verification is use a glass meter at the 60-degree angle. If the glass meter reading taken at 60-degree angle is equal or greater than 90% of the adjacent or OEM standard surface, जैसा OEM standard panels provide किए जाते हैं, then the painted shall be marked as accepted, otherwise it shall be marked as rejected due to insufficient gloss or loss of gloss. Therefore, accept the part only when the 60-degree gloss value is equal or greater than 90% of the OEM reference panel, otherwise reject for loss of gloss. Let us repeat the acceptance criteria. Glass reading should be equal or greater than 90 degrees of the adjacent or OEM surface. Number 4 inspection parameter is surface smoothness. Manual and the verification method is manual tactile check and visual under raking light. Where there are two important points, two important terminologies, that is tactile check and raking light. Let us first consider, let us first define as to what is the tactile check and raking light. Tactile check means inspecting the painted surface by gently touching it with the fingers or palm to feel its condition. To feel its condition. And the raking light means light falling on the surface from a very low, shallow angle, almost parallel to the surface. Effects are more visible in raking light. That is the objective. So, if the painted surface feels smooth to touch and show no roughness, overspray, or polishing marks, when inspected visually under a raking light, then the part shall be marked as accepted. Otherwise, it shall be marked as rejected due to surface finish defect, oblique potential loss of gloss. Therefore, accept only if the surface is smooth and free from roughness, overspray, or polishing marks. Otherwise, reject. Hence, the acceptance criteria is surface must feel smooth with no roughness, overspray, or polishing marks. Coming to the fifth inspection parameter, and that is fill continuity. The verification method is cross-section or film thickness gauge. If the final coating, when checked by cross-section method or film thickness gauge, meets the specified dry film thickness requirement, then the part shall be marked as accepted. Otherwise, it shall be marked as rejected due to insufficient film continuity and a possible loss of glass risk. Except only if the final coating dry film thickness is within the specified range, otherwise reject. In paint shops, terms maintaining proper dry film thickness is important because too too low thickness can reduce gloss and durability, while too high thickness can cause solvent entrapment, haziness, and sometimes contributes to brittleness. Therefore, the acceptance criteria, that is, final coating, must meet recommended dry film thickness specifications. Number in Number 6 inspection parameter is curing or baking confirmations. Manufacturer's data sheet reference or solvent rub test. If the coating, when verified against the manufacturer data sheet or by solvent rub test, is found to be fully cured with no tackiness or softness under light pressure, then the part shall be marked as accepted. Otherwise, it shall be marked as rejected due to incomplete curing, potential loss of gloss. Accept only if the coating is fully cured and free from tackiness or softness, otherwise reject. This point is very important because undercure paint often leads to delayed loss of glass, fingerprint marks, and poor durability. Let us recheck the acceptance criteria, and that is coating must be fully cured, no tackiness or softness under light pressure. Coming to the seventh inspection parameter of the loss of gloss is polishing quality. And the verification method is visual under diffuse and direct light. That is, If the polished surface, when inspected under diffuse and direct light, shows no swirl marks, burn-throughs, or even polishing zones, then the part shall be marked as accepted. Otherwise, it shall be considered as rejected due to poor polishing quality or loss of gloss risk. Hence, accept only if the surface is free from swirl marks, burn-throughs, and uneven polishing zone. Otherwise, reject. The swirl marks here mentioned are fine circular or semicircular scratches that appear on the painted or polished surface, especially visible under light. And burn through means the polishing process has removed too much paint, especially the clear coat or top coat, exposing the lower layer. Therefore, the acceptance criteria is no swirl marks, burn through, or even or uneven polishing zone visible related to the polishing quality. Coming to the eighth inspection parameter, and that is color consistency. Verification method is visual comparison with the adjacent panel, meaning thereby if the painted surface, when visually compared with adjacent panel, shows matching color shades and correct metallic orientation, then the part shall be marked as accepted. Otherwise, it shall be marked as rejected due to color inconsistency and finish mismatch. Accept only if the color shade or and metallic orientations watch adjacent surface, match adjacent surface, otherwise reject. This is especially very important for fuel tanks, side cover, bearings, doors, fenders, and bumpers, when even slight shade variation can be immediately visible and therefore it should be rejected. Color consistency acceptance criteria is color shade and metallic orientation must match adjacent surfaces. Coming to the ninth inspection parameter, and that is environmental resistance. Verification method is humidity chamber or UV chamber exposure if required, if applicable or considered as suitable. If the coated surface after humidity or UV chamber exposure test shows no visible degradation, chalking, or loss of gloss, then the part shall be marked as accepted. Otherwise, it shall be marked as rejected due to insufficient environmental resistance characteristics. Hence, only accept only the part if no degradation, chalking, or gloss is observed after the test cycle. Otherwise, the part is rejected. This quality check is especially useful for verifying the long-term durability of exterior painted parts exposed to sunlight, rain, and humidity. Therefore, I would like to repeat the acceptance criteria related to environmental resistance. No visible degradation, chalking, or gloss loss after the test cycle, that is humidity test or UV chamber exposure test. Ninth inspection parameter is, rather requirement is final documentation. While quality assurance department signs off and a digital photo record is maintained or not. If the quality assurance department sign off has been completed and the digital oblique photo record of the repair process and final result is properly documented, then the part shall be marked as accepted for traceability and closure. Otherwise, it shall be marked and rejected due to incomplete documentation, or the part it is, or it may be considered as pending. Hence, accept only if quality assurance sign up and digital records are complete for full traceability. Otherwise, keep it pending. This ensures proper quality traceability, audit compliance, and future root cause analysis support. Let me repeat the acceptance criteria related to final documentation, and that is repair process and result documented for traceability. At 10, a special note on loss of clause, as it is very important paint quality issue in automobiles, motorcycle, and scooter because it directly affects the appearance and customer satisfaction of the vehicle. Even if vehicle is mechanically very sound, a dull, hazy, or uneven paint finish gives a very poor impression. The checklist is logical and comprehensive as it covers the key points such as glass, reflectivity, smoothness, film thickness, curing, polishing quality, color consistency, and final documentation. Therefore, proper process control, inspection, and documentation are essential to prevent this defect and maintain OEM level paint quality. We believe that the loss of glass should be considered only a, it should not be considered only a surface appearance defect. It often indicates process related problems such as incorrect paint mixing, poor spray application, insufficient curing, contamination, or improper finishing or improper polishing. Therefore, proper process control, inspection, and documentation are essential to prevent this defect and maintain high quality OEM level paint quality. This we conclude our today's discussion on the subject of loss of class quality verification list. Thank you and thank you very much.